We're talking with John Wohl. John is the president, owner, and founder of Finesse Cuisine, a high-end catering business in Chicago. And John, if I'm right, you've been a member of Chief Executive Boards for a little bit over a year. Is that
About
right?
a year and a half now.
Great. Okay. And this is your second summit experience. Can you tell me a little bit about how a summit compares in your experience with your local boards?
First of all, you're mixing and mingling with business owners from around the country, so you get a little bit of a different perspective on a typical issue. There are the briefing sessions, workshops, symposiums, and you're networking with a wider variety of individuals.
Great. Let's take it back to when you first heard about Chief Executive Boards. What was it that first interested you in this?
I'd owned my company for about 3.5 years. We'd reached a point where I had to make a lot of business decisions and I didn't feel equipped to make them on my own. I reached out to a few friends and mentors, and one particular individual talked to me about how this forum is run, and I realized it's kind of a lonely life being an entrepreneur, and it's difficult when you don't truly have anybody to turn to. You have to put up a really strong front in front of your family, your employees, colleagues, the bank, and I needed an environment where I could turn to contemporaries and peers and say, what do I do with this issue? How do I handle a problem? What's my next step in the development of my company?
It really is lonely at the top, isn't it?
It can be. Yes, it is. It's exciting, but it's lonely and frightening.
So how's this experience help you improve your business and perhaps even some of your personal life?
It takes me out of my daily arena. It forces me to really focus on myself, the business, and the bigger picture. I develop a plan, an action plan, each time I come to either one of the summits or the quarterly meetings.
You mentioned the time. I sometimes hear people say, gee, I can't take that much time away from my business. How would you compare a day at the office with the value of a day in a Chief Executive Board's meeting?
A typical day at the office, you're fulfilling tasks. You're doing minute things. Here you're really working on much bigger picture issues. The time is not a good excuse. It's the same excuse we use when we say, I didn't have time to go to the doctor or to the health club. If you're really taking care of the health of your company, you should make time to do important things.
And then this is an investment as well. You're spending some money on this. How do you relate the economic benefit that you've gotten in your company versus the small amount that you spend on Chief Executive Boards?
Well, Terry, it's hard for an entrepreneur to spend any money. Our typical inclination is just to hold on to everything, but it's really not a huge investment. Add up the typical fee that you'd pay a lawyer, an accountant, an advisor, a consultant. It's nominal, and the return is substantial. The reason I'm here is not to get leads or contacts or to build my Rolodex, but that is a residual effect, and certainly that's helped. But the resources and the action plans I've developed here have really paid for itself many times over.
That's good to hear. And what would you say has been the best part about Chief Executive Boards for you so far?
I think, whenever I come to these, I go back to work. I'm invigorated. I'm excited. As the owner, I feel like I have to have a vision, and my vision's much stronger, and that impacts everybody around me at work. And I tend to take the material I learn here and share it with others, and I share the exercises I've done, and sometimes I'll even be forthright with what I experienced or what my responses were. And I found that my colleagues, my employees, they'll start to do a similar type of they'll develop a certain similar self-awareness.
So it's about perspective and it's about self-awareness.
Right, and it allows me to spread a pretty sensible message to everybody at work.
That's great. We've been talking with John Wohl, president of Finesse Cuisine from the Chicagoland area. John, thank you very much.
Well, thanks, Terry.